Is your agent still using pen and paper? That's so cringe!
This is Real Talk FinTech Trailblazers.
Brought to you by MESSION in collaboration with the Singapore FinTech Association. Hi, welcome to the Real Talk FinTech Trailblazer series by MESSION in collaboration with the Singapore FinTech Association, supported by the Asia Tech Subcommittee. Here, we uncover the stories of visionary leaders, innovative entrepreneurs, and industry disruptors who are redefining the financial landscape. Joining me in this series is my co-host from the Singapore FinTech Association Asia Tech Subcommittee Chair, Matthew Chew. Welcome to the show, Matthew. So before we begin welcoming our guest, Matthew, can you share with our viewers out there what does the Asia Tech Subcommittee in the Singapore FinTech Association do and what are their goals?
So the goals of the subcommittee is to focus and foster development and growth of the broad insurtech ecosystem in Singapore by working collaboratively with various stakeholders in the industry in 4 key areas of focus. Number 1, engagement with regulators. Number 2, engagement with the industry. Number 3, nurture the development and insurtech companies and ecosystem. And number 4, talent development. So, our guest today is none other than Dato Wayne, the co-founder and CEO of GhostMapper, an innovative financial planning platform that's transforming the way financial consultants help their clients visualize and stress test their financial portfolios. Under Wayne's leadership, GhostMapper has expanded into 5 countries and won numerous accolades, including Singapore FinTech Festival's Global FinTech Award. His vision has empowered financial consultants across Asia to deliver better and more personalized advice through powerful digital tools.
So beyond GhostMapper, Wayne has been a serial entrepreneur holding directorship at several companies. This is where he continued to push the boundaries of innovation and leadership. He started off his career as a financial advisor, and today he is a key figure in the fintech world, continuously shaping the future of financial planning in the region. So, without further ado, let's welcome Dato Wayne.
Hi!
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, right, and joining us. So in fact, can you tell our audience out there, right, what's GhostMapper and the story of you?
Okay, maybe we start off with GhostMapper, right? So GhostMapper is a financial planning software. So it's a SaaS model where we provide this as a platform for financial advisors to use our platform to do financial planning for their clients. So we also offer this platform to enterprises so they can actually sign up as a corporate and to allow all their representatives to use our software to do financial planning for their client.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does it work? What's it talk about financial planning? I thought people always use like pen, paper, then they will draw. Well, what does GhostMapper actually really does?
So in terms of GhostMapper, a lot of times, a lot of financial advisors, they use Excel or they probably use pen and paper. So our idea here is to really provide a visualization tool so that the financial advisor can have a more easy way to actually portray to the customers how much is their shortfall and how much they actually need to set aside for their retirement. So the platform allows the financial advisor to show the different goals that the customer want to achieve and can even use the different scenario to stress test their portfolio so that they actually know what is the gap that they have. So through a visualization, they can easily identify how much is their shortfall at different time frame, different parts of their life.
Right. As we touch on different parts of GhostMapper, right, I'm very curious, what got you inspired to kick off GhostMapper?
So I was actually a financial advisor many years ago when I first came out from the army. I was a regular back then.
Oh, okay.
I signed on for 4 years as an army infantry officer. So after I left the force, the first industry I joined is actually IFA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so why I chose the industry is because IFA or financial advisor is probably the toughest to be in because, I want to learn how to do sales. So that's why I wanted to go into this industry. So that was the first year. Then after I have learned about doing sales, that's where I started to go into business. I set up multiple business over the years. And at one point of time, I find that I wanted to do something that is more into fintech, digital, and that's how I came in to set up GhostMapper. Yeah.
So what does GhostMapper help the financial advisors represent or illustrate to the clients?
So actually for Ghost Mapper, right, first thing, it actually help the financial advisor in increasing their professionalism. I mean, nowadays, we have all the different technology that's available in the market, right? You talk about robo-advisory, etc. But in terms of financial advisor, what do they actually use to leverage, what IT technology do they leverage on in order to portray their image better? So in all companies, they use different kind of digital solution, different digital platform. But in financial advisory, rarely there are any companies out there to actually come up with a platform to support this group of users. So that's where we came up with this platform. The idea here is to support them in terms of increasing their professionalism. And of course, through this, they can help the customer to make better informed financial decision by illustrating to them very clearly from now all the way to they pass on how much money they actually need for different goals and of course for their retirement.
So I think the complexity for mapping out goals or trying to identify financial goals comes from things are not always linear, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know sometimes the investments make money, sometimes they lose money.
Yeah.
And so I think does your platform help in coming up with all this and addressing all of this for the advisor or consultants?
Yeah, actually Matthew spot on, right? Like, because a lot of times, a lot of goals or a lot of things that happen in our life, right, is always overlapping. But many a times when we are doing financial planning for our client, it's very single goal orientated. Like for example, you are planning for your child education. So imagine 15 years later, you need this amount of money, 100,000. So how much do you need to set aside now? And you need to invest in certain vehicle that give you certain kind of ROI. Then you can achieve that amount. So, but then there are a lot of things happening over, every single moment, right? Like today, suddenly you sign up a golf membership, then, you spend like 50,000 away. So how do you actually take into consideration all these different things that you are going through in your life, right? And yet be able to visualize, whether are you on track towards your goals and your retirement.
Okay.
So you mentioned visualize whether you're on track, right? Is this something that is live updated to clients on a daily basis? Or I don't know, is it just an app where people, the financial planners will just show it? How does it really?
So currently, we only offer our platform to licensed financial advisor. So through them, then the financial advisor
So retail consumers cannot use that?
No, they can't. Yeah, so it's only through financial advisor where they will actually sit down together with their client to go through the process. So taking into consideration like what are the ideas and perspective that the client have. Even things like, for example, retirement. Some customer will think that during retirement, I will need more funds because I will travel more often.
Yeah.
But there are some people who will think that I actually need lesser funds because I will go out lesser. So how do you take all these different perspectives into showing them in reality, if you really spend more in terms of traveling or you spend lesser, how does it impact your finances? So through our platform, we can actually show all these different permutation.
So I think one of the key illustrations, right? I've seen the platform before. One of the key illustrations is really during retirement, most people have the idea of I retire with 1 million, X amount of dollars, right? And that's it, no?
Yeah.
But the illustration essentially shows you that if you take out some money at different points in your life, then how it draws down accordingly. And I think that has a big impact on the consumer, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we even have like customers, they are probably foreigner working here in Singapore. They probably bought some properties at their hometown or
Right.
in their own country. So sometimes they think by the time and when I reach like 45 or 50, what I'll do is I will stop working here. I will move back to my hometown. Then they think that actually they can actually retire eventually by selling a few properties. But when they use Ghost Mapper, right, to showcase all these things, actually they found out that they are still short. So in the end, right, they actually need to invest more in order to prepare for their retirement. Yeah. So instead of a lot of perception kind of decision making, we really show them facts and figures, how and when they need to make what kind of decision.
Essentially, most people are visual people, right?
Yes,
So I also understand that you have, so help all of us here understand. Because you mentioned Ghost Mapper as a very general and where it came out from. And today you have GM Planner, you have GM Brand, GM Connect, right? And I think also GM Rewards, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. What are these different subcategories products, yes? And how do they tie in together?
So in terms of Ghost Mapper, we actually take innovation very seriously. So when we first started, it's only GM Planner. So it's a financial planning platform for financial advice.
Which is the one that we talk about, the visualization and all. Okay.
Yeah. So along the way, we actually hear a lot of feedback from our users, like what are the challenges that they face in the industry. And that's where we take all this feedback from them and we innovate new products to support them in their business. From pre-sales, sales to post-sales. So that's why we came up with GM Brand, where they can actually use our platform to come up with digital name card, website, or areas how they can brand themselves. Then we have GM Connect, where they can actually better manage their client. For example, they can better filter their client's profile. Then from there, they can actually send very targeted messages to the different profile of customer in terms of their needs or wants. Then we also have GM Rewards, GM Mortgage. We have up and coming. There's a new product that we are working on that can actually help customers in terms of their legacy planning, estate planning. Yeah.
So I'm curious because you mentioned many verticals, right, for the product, and this is because you're actively looking to pivot beyond the offering, or did it come by coincidence? I mean, I'm asking from an entrepreneur standpoint of view, right? How do you create the adjacent product lines?
I think in terms of business or entrepreneurship, right, many a times stars must align. Yeah. So for example, when it comes to the first thing must be customer centric, our user centric, right? So what they actually need, and when we identify what they need, right, then we need to see whether we have very good partners. Like Benjamin, he's a very good partner of mine. He is actually working on GM Academy. And GM Academy also one of the subsidiary like product that we came out of, which is targeted at tapping on very top-notch practitioner where they can show nuggets, share nuggets of knowledge, skill set to practitioner. So even like users, they can actually use such information to train their new joiners or even their manager aspirants. So that's what our idea is.
So Benjamin Ang as in Benjamin Ang from GM Academy lah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to be sure because there's too many Benjamin out there.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when someone go out to LinkedIn, they can find the actual Benjamin Ang.
If you're unsure, he's probably the one doing the pull-ups.
Yeah,
that's right,
that's the one, right?
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
So I think I'm looking at all these things and I'm hearing quite a lot of things from you in terms of innovation, in terms of having feedback and things like that. And I also understand that of course you're also in the Singapore FinTech Association, right? So how did that whole association actually helps you?
I think first of all, joining the Singapore FinTech Association helped us to get ourselves known. Because in any case, right, any companies overseas, if they are planning to come to Asia, they plan to come to Singapore, the first thing, the directory, they will actually look at SFA. What are the companies that's available here? And SFA, they did very well in terms of categorizing all the different companies, right? So at one glance, any company want to find a company that is in certain category, they can just go in SFA and find it. And of course, SFA also does a lot of networking session. So through the networking session, you get to know new friends, new probably investors or partners that you can actually collaborate to develop new products. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, looking at all the mentions, right? You are InsurTech of the Year, Singapore FinTech Association certified, ISO certified 27,000,
which is information security, by the way.
Yeah.
Not an easy certification to get.
SFF Global FinTech Awards founder winner as well. Insurance Business Asia Technology Award, and so amongst all these awards, so how do you think you got this recognition?
For us, I think the first thing is security. Data protection is the paramount importance to us. That's why we are very strict in terms of our processes pertaining to data management. That's why we go for the best standard. ISO 27001. And for Singapore, we also take the Data Protection Trust Mark. Yeah, so that is for security. In terms of credential, we are very selective in terms of what kind of awards we go for. It must be with a panel where they audit very diligently in terms of what we do. That's where those awards that we go for. So as you have seen, right, like the InsurTech of the Year award and the SFF, the Singapore Founders. What's the award again?
Global Founder.
Yeah, Global Founder. Yeah, sorry. Forgot about
Global
it.
FinTech Awards.
Yeah.
Singapore Founder winner.
Yeah, so those awards actually add on to the credential, where we emerge top in terms of comparing with a lot of nominations.
Well, then we are very honored to actually have you here as a guest, because you are very picky, you are actually very focused on those people who actually give you values. For you to be on our show, right, we hope that we're able to give value out there to all young entrepreneurs there. So now I want to pull it back out of the company and I want to go to you yourself, right, as an individual. Because when you mentioned that actually you were a financial advisor, you wanted, and then after that you actually left and then because you want to learn sales, right? And you created Ghost Member from there. How did that transition felt like? Was it hard?
Yeah. Okay. So after I was in the army for 4 years. After I left, I joined IFA for 1 year. After that, I started my first business in events management. So that was the first business that I'm in. Then after I set up a HR business called Elites, right? Then
Still around, right?
Yeah, still around.
Yeah.
Already 14 years. Then we are also in the region. And thereafter, I set up Ghost Mapper with my co-founders. So I think the transition is definitely very tough, especially when you go into a new industry. But with partners where they have certain expertise, domain knowledge, and that's where we can actually tap on each other's strength. Then we can grow further. Yeah, if everything is about myself alone, right, then I think it's a bit tough to move forward. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, you did mention that, okay, let's say right now it's myself alone, it's a bit tough to move forward. But look at the things that you're doing, look at things that each industry pretty much differs, right? Isn't it tough because you have to create it from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Right? And some of your partners may or may not be aligned with you for the matter of fact, right? How do you
Yes.
handle those?
I think first of all, you need to set the foundation right first. If you have the fundamental right, after that, when you want to move on to grow into new business domain, that will be easier because the first part is already stable. But if you have not built the initial foundation, then the growth will be a bit more challenging. And in terms of alignment, right, I think everybody needs to know what you're doing and you have to be upfront to tell them, all these things, and everybody are taken care of. Then there shouldn't be such an alignment issue.
Right. So with that said, were there any core values or principles that you follow throughout all the way on?
From the different businesses?
Yes.
I think the first is ethical. So I think that is the most important in all businesses. I feel integrity is the most important value that one entrepreneur should have. Be truthful, be transparent. Yeah, I think from there, over the years, your reputation will also be known to others. And it's easy when people know about you, they will also ask reference, right? They will ask, hey, how's your experience working with this partner? Yeah, then from there, you actually can open more opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the various companies that you helm, right, how does your leadership differs?
How does my leadership differs? I think depends on the type of business that I'm in and the type of partner and what is my role. So different role, then I will have to play different responsibility. So I
maybe
need to work different.
share with us what are the different roles at each company.
Wow, okay. A lot.
We have a bit of time, no problem.
Yeah, we've got some time.
Yeah.
Okay, so In HR, right, my HR business, I was taking care of overseas expansion. So at that point in time, I need to fly around and look for partners to collaborate or even target company that we want to acquire. So that was the role that I play, and I'm also involved in special projects. So there are certain projects like acquisition, then I will also take care of it. Internal HR team, I have a manager that works with me to manage the internal HR team. So a lot of times I just give the directive, then my manager will actually execute accordingly. So that is for the HR side. So for Ghost Mapper, I started off in the sales portion. So I'm very active in terms of sales and driving the sales team in getting more users on board. Then after that, now I'm more into the company direction, like setting what is the key things that we need to work on. Then the managers, they will actually take note and then they will execute. Yeah. Then in terms of property side, so I also do property development. So the property development is more on the back end administration. So the front end is actually my partner running the show.
Yeah, so to the audience out there, I'm amazed, right? If you look at the things that he's doing, it's wow. Which leads to my next question. How do you get the knowledge and how do you balance all this?
How do I get the knowledge and balance?
Yeah, because I think in today's context, most of us will say that actually you need to gather a bit of knowledge, right? And then you jump into something that you think that you're passionate about and doing it, right? And for you, you're from financial planning, you did HR, then to property, and best of it, started off from the army, right? Yeah. So how do you accumulate all this knowledge, and then what gets you going, to just jump in?
I think in terms of knowledge, right, one cannot learn everything under the sun, right? So a lot of times you really need to tap on each other's strength.
Right.
But I think one must be very clear on where you want to go, what is the thing that you want to achieve. Then from there, you will be able to attract like who are the people that you ought to meet. This like law of attraction, right?
Yeah.
And when you know that this is what you want to go for, then stars will align. You get to meet people that is that you wanted to meet. Then it is about whether are you daring to ask have you ever thought of doing this together? Then that's where things start to fall into place.
So do you have a story to illustrate the law of attraction in this case?
Law of attraction in this case, many. Like, okay, my HR business, right? My co-founder partner, I have never met him before. So it was just this incident where we meet over coffee. And then there's this opportunity. Then we say, okay, let's start. And from then till now, 14 years already.
Wow. Okay.
At that meeting,
Just
Just one meeting. Yeah.
What gives you the trust?
So that's why I say, sometimes you if you were to measure too many like risks or whatsoever, you can't get things done. The key thing is you just start first, you implement, and from there, it is really the integrity, the ethics part, right, that hold everybody together. Yeah.
But with that said, don't you ever been played out or been in layman terms been burnt by someone before?
Definitely. There was a person that I trust a lot, right? Back then, came in, we gave free equities to the person, but in the end, the person didn't work out and actually tried to steal certain information from the company and do something on their own. Of course, that was the most painful experience that I have. But other than that, I think I'm quite blessed so far that I've always been meeting very good people. Yeah.
So is this considered one of the biggest challenges that you have encountered?
There are a lot of challenges, like COVID is a challenge, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
did that affect Ghost Mapper, COVID?
COVID actually helped Ghost Mapper quite a fair bit because a lot of financial advisors, they are having challenges on how to actually engage or approach the customer, especially when you cannot meet them face to face.
Right.
And actually, at this point of time, more and more customers are getting comfortable doing online meetings.
Yeah.
So in fact, financial advisors can actually leverage on Ghost Mapper to use it online to engage their customer. And really, when it's coming to like physical engagement, right, that is where you build relationship. So online, you can do all the business stuff, going through all the planning, everything. But when it's physical meeting, right, then it can be more like, focus on building the relationship.
Relationship.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that COVID actually helped Ghost Mapper. Do you have another example that says that COVID didn't help any of your businesses?
COVID didn't.
That's a tough question.
We are very lucky. We are
So
very
all the
lucky.
businesses
All did
do well during COVID.
exceptionally well during COVID.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So even in the HR side, right, when during COVID, we actually supply a lot of people, manpower to the hospitals for safe entry ambassador.
Right.
Yeah, all these things. So in fact, for us, we are considered quite blessed.
Okay. Okay.
So what about international expansion? Because I think for Ghost Mapper to be in 5 countries, regulations are different.
Yep.
Right? Especially in the financial regulations, that's another whole spectrum of its own. Right? Was it tough? What was the roadblocks that you faced?
I think the roadblocks is about finding the right distributor. So for overseas, we usually work with a local distributor. The local distributor will understand the market better. They will understand the domain knowledge better, like the rules and regulation, and how their people actually will react or know their preference. So their culture, etc. So finding the distributor is the toughest. So in terms of overseas expansion for myself, because prior to Ghost Mapper, I'm already into like overseas expansion. So I already know some of the people there. Then it's easier for us to actually grow out of Singapore. Yeah. So the toughest is really to find the right people that you can work with.
That seems to be his role because growing overseas in Ghost Mapper as well as the HR, right? It's always
Yeah, it's
regional
all
for
regional.
you.
Yeah.
Is that so? On that note, is that the reason why you went to get your Dato?
Okay. So the Dato chip is actually by chance. I happen to know someone who is a Dato in Indonesia. Right. So he know about my social work contribution. Then that's where he actually helped me to write in the recommendation letter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's how it goes. And a lot of times this Dato ship, right? During networking, people will usually ask, are you from Malaysia?
Yes.
Yeah. So I always tell them, no, I'm not from Malaysia. I'm Singaporean. Then they'll say, how come you got a Dato ship? Yeah. So then I'll explain to them. It's because of a lot of social work that I have done all the years. Yeah.
Okay. In Indonesia as well, or just social work in Singapore?
In Singapore, yeah. So they recognize the social work everywhere. As long as you have been actively doing this, then they will actually help with the recommendation.
Yeah. Wow, that's very interesting because I think we don't meet many people with Dato ship and all, right? Furthermore, a Dato from Indonesia, right? We're here from Malaysia, but not much from Indonesia.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Dato Wayne, right? So I'm very curious because you are a very positive person, it seems to me, right? After having conversation for the last 20, 35 minutes or so, right? Are there any low point in your life?
Low point in life?
Yeah, in the whole career, perhaps.
I think it's not low point, but it's just a lot of reflection, like how you're going to manage time. Because I think life is not just about work, right? You still need to take care of family, your time with your parents, your time with your wife, your time with your kids. So it is the toughest. Every time, especially you know that in terms of the work, there's certain role that you need to play. But back at home, you also have certain role to play.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I think that will be the toughest to manage. But it's not the low point. But I'm lucky to have a very understanding wife, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So she understands, and I travel like every month, 1 or 2 weeks, or sometimes 3 weeks.
Wow.
So she has been very understanding.
1 2 weeks out.
Usually I go for very short.
Like 3 days back.
Yeah, 3 days, 4 days, then I'll be back. Yeah, but then again, it's still a lot of days out of Singapore.
So shout out to the wife, right, ladies and gentlemen. A successful man, right? You need a successful partner, right? Whether you are female or male, you need a successful partner to support your career, right? As you can see, all our guests has been saying that throughout.
Supportive partners, right?
Yeah, you need that, definitely.
Yeah.
So the things that when I look at your whole experience, right? You could have been very comfortable managing one company.
Yes.
Right? But you started off and spun off a few more other companies. Right? Any point have you ever doubted yourself that and asked yourself, hey, why am I doing this? Right? I should have been very comfortable. Why do I want to do this?
Why backside itchy? Why
Yeah.
hands itchy?
So this part, right, is a lot of self-awareness, right? So in fact, I know why I cannot stop. I know exactly the reason. And the reason is because of insecurity. Yeah, so I have a lot of insecurity in terms of my future. So I have this belief that I need to do something today so that I can have certain fruits of labor in the future. And if I stop, then I will start to ponder, tomorrow what will happen to me, you know?
So what is security to you?
Security doesn't mean like money or whatsoever. It's just the activity that I feel that today, if I do something, there will be something good that will happen in the future. So I must do something good today. Yeah, so that is the part where I will feel that kind of insecurity. So I have to continue to do something on a daily basis.
So this insecurity is not financial insecurity lah.
Last time I always thought that it was financial insecurity.
Okay.
But after, when you achieve certain milestone, then you feel that, why am I still doing that? Yeah, then that's where you start to realize that actually it's not about the money anymore. It's really about what value you bring to the people or to the business. Yeah, so that become my driving and motivation.
Oh, that's very deep. I'll try to digest that. Well, so I mean, with that, I mean, you say that there's an insecurity of having things done, and then you work so that you have things moving forward, right? It's like a karma kind of a thing in general, right? That said, were there any failures, right, or anything that you think that you stood up or stepped wrongly that you said that actually I should have done that?
Whether I shouldn't have done that.
Because I think you've been, in a way, very lucky so far.
Yeah.
Right? Pandemic, all business booming, right? And you kept a very, very positive mindset throughout. But I want to understand whether or not, because I think all entrepreneurs do face failure. And you mentioned that you do have someone that actually, in a way, steal data, right? But is there any big failures that you thought that, as a personal note, that you think that you should have done it yourself?
In my earlier days when I was in my business, right? So there was a time where my HR business nearly go bankrupt. So what happened was that we actually have a very big contract from one of the customer. And the customer then they actually engaged us to provide promoters, island-wide. So back then was like maybe about 600 promoters.
Wow, okay.
And the total billing size could be about 600,000 or so. So they don't want to pay us. And in the
And then
end,
you have to pay the
I
promoters.
still have to pay the promoters. So in the end, we went out to get loans. So we pay off the promoter before anything. Then we tried to fight the case with them, and luckily we won. And so we were like very close to bankruptcy. So that lesson actually helped us to know that when we are going into business, we need to identify what potential risks there is. And sometimes it's better not to put all eggs into one basket, right? So when it comes to customers or clients' contribution to sales, you need to really go in and look through that they shouldn't take too high a percentage of your total sales contribution.
Okay.
So you need to diversify, and it's the same as investment, right? You try to diversify so that you can have a more balanced portfolio.
So that case was fought in court or was arbitration?
So it was just lawyer letters and changing, etc. So in the end, they couldn't continue with the with the legal fees. So in the end, they have to drop out.
Okay. Actually, this is a very powerful point because 600 sounds like a good deal, right? But when you 600 multiply by 1,000 people that you have to pay, it's more than half it's more than half a million, and you just need the fellow not to pay, and that's it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, right? As much as Dato Wayne is so positive, you can see that there's so many setbacks that he actually took it off, keep it as a personal experience and learn from it and move on. So that kept him, right, from always moving forward. Yeah. So now moving back to you, right? I would like to check with you. Are there any mentors, right, or that actually helps you throughout your whole journey?
There are a lot of mentors around me. I think for everyone it's the same. It's just that whether you recognize that the person is your mentor. Even like my wife is a mentor, Benjamin also mentor, and who else? There are quite a lot lah. So many a times I will ask them for advice. So and even like during conversation, they share certain things which I learn from them, right? And those are all my mentors. So it comes with different time, different people. Yeah. So there are so many of them. It's just that whether we recognize, that they are our mentors.
And plus, I think the young generation nowadays, or in fact, I won't even use the word young generation. Most of us nowadays, whether or not whatever your age is, we tend to be a little bit shy in asking someone questions and mentor, especially
Singapore
in the Asian context.
Our context.
Yeah. So what do you say about that?
I think it's true that we are more like passive, right? And probably a bit more conservative. But I think it's always better to ask. It's like, playing the game, they always call a friend and ask them, for advice, right? That's the best, because the person will have their domain expertise.
Okay.
Right? They have been in the industry probably for many years, right? And you have certain questions and you are not familiar with. The best is you call the person, you ask them about this question or this problem. They will probably be the best person to share with you their ideas. Of course, you still need to validate, but then it is the fastest way where you can get answers. Yeah, so don't be shy to ask. Sometimes it's just whether you just ask that question, right? You get something, right? Yeah, it's whether you take the courage to ask.
Ask or not.
Yeah, just ask. Yeah.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right? As much as we are Asians, we tend to be passive and not asking. Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Right? You never know what you receive, right? Whether it's in knowledge, whether it's in an business opportunity, right? Starting off a HR business after 14 years, you never know what it comes.
Just a coffee
Just
session.
one coffee
Yeah.
and one questions.
And interestingly, my property development arm, right, is also just by one question. So I knew this guy, he was in the property development for like maybe more than 10 years, right? So he has always been doing property development. I acquainted with him like about 5 years and we never talked about business.
Right.
Then one day I was thinking, I'm in HR, I'm in fintech. The next business I am interested to get my hands on, right, is about property development.
Right.
And that's where then one day I asked him, hey, do you think I can be involved in this property development business? Then after a few weeks or a month or so, he bring one project to me and said, hey, if you want to do, let's start a business, we do together. That's how we get started.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really purely like you take the courage and ask, and then who knows, right? Then things will just fall into place.
Yeah. So on that topic, because I think you need to meet people in order to have the opportunity to sit down. And that's where the question of networking comes into play.
Yes,
Right? How important is networking to you?
networking is very important for everybody. There's a saying they say that your net worth is equivalent to
To your
the
net worth.
seven
The 7 closest people to you.
yeah, so 7 closest people to you, right? So I think network is definitely important for whatever things like just now we mentioned simple things like when you have a question, right? Then it depends on who you know, right? And whether you can get your answers. Yeah, so the network is definitely very critical, very important.
So for you, someone who actually have no knowledge of that particular industry, which you did, right? How do you kick off that network?
Kicking off the network doesn't really need to have certain domain knowledge in a sector. You can be very good at what you do. So, and from there, you can get to know new friends. Yeah, then if you want to know new industry or new knowledge, then you just have to, ask and work around it. So you don't necessarily need to know the industry very well at the start.
Right.
Yeah.
What about, like, for example, the associations that you are in? Does those networks help you greatly?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I'm in a few association. Then through the association, I get to know my partners as well. Like my Thai partner, I got to know him through an association. Yeah, so that's how we get started. In my Vietnam business, also through association, where I got to know him. Then
It's a Singapore association or the country's association?
It's okay. One is a regional association. Actually, both are regional association. Yeah, so we participate in their event, then we network. Then I got to know him. Then one or two appointment, sitting together, having coffee. Then we say, hey, can we do something together? Then that's how we kick off. Very fast.
Right.
Yeah, when there's a chemistry, very fast. Everything, just yeah.
So personally, for me, I like to be connected in the events as well. Maybe you can share some tips on networking. Like how do you as an entrepreneur or startup, right, or founder go out there to talk to people? Are you just going to go there, talk to people so that you can get business, or you just want to make friends? Maybe share some tips.
Usually when I go for networking, it's purely to make friends, like getting to know the person, like what business they are in, what keep them motivated, what is their plan, for their business in the future. Those are the things that usually I will find out more, like, hey, why do they attend this event? What would they want? What are they looking for, in terms of their business? So I will always try to see what value I can bring to them before asking for anything. Yeah, because a lot of times you also don't know what they may actually support you in the future. So it may not be during the networking session. Yeah.
And this comes from whether or not you can directly see a business dealing, right? Because sometimes it's indirect.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. So you probably need a few certain setting, it can be very direct. But certain setting, I think you may not know that person's network. Right. So it's also very difficult for you to straight away say that, there's something that you can work on. So just build a relationship, see whether you have chemistry. I mean, in the whole world, you cannot have everybody like you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you also won't be a best friend of everybody, right? So you just need to meet enough people, then you can filter off and see who have the best chemistry with you. Then you just mix with the person that you have chemistry with.
Right. So I have two big questions that I'd like to pose it to you. First one is, I think being in the fintech industry for Ghostmapper, that industry is fast moving. It's very fast paced. Right? Does the networking side actually helps? Because by the time you're networking, maybe the idea you bounce off, it's gone already. So that's the first question. Second question, right, it's with today, fintech being the main big thing, or in fact, not just fintech, technology itself, innovation itself is a big thing. And many of the young ones are dying to understand more about technology. And to them is that they actually, wait until I have something concrete, then I'll join this kind of associations to understand more. Right? What do you say about this?
I think first, right, network is definitely important. It doesn't matter whether are you planning to set up a business or not, right? Because it can be as simple things as like, for example, what is the best data plan in Malaysia? You can even ask a friend, right, to give you the answer, right? So network is really truly important. So I think it is best to get to know more friends lah. And whether to join the association, I think it really depends on whether you find that there's value. As I say, network is important. So I hope entrepreneurs out there will see the benefit of joining association where you can network to know more people. And fintech is moving so fast, right? And actually, to be frank, ideas are cheap. The key thing is still down to the implementation. So be daring to share your ideas. Don't be afraid that people will copy your idea, because it's not easy to copy ideas. Yeah, it is really about implementation. So do be daring to share so that people know what you're thinking, and that's where opportunity will then arise. Yeah.
So now that you mentioned fintech, and all, what do you think is the trend for your domain, fintech?
I wouldn't share about the trend. I think a lot of companies, they are going into technology for sure. And nowadays, customers are getting more and more demanding, right? They wish for something that's more personalized and more contextualized. So I guess in terms of our industry, it's definitely going upwards. And for us, our direction is definitely going towards enterprise as well. Besides the individual financial advisor, we are going towards enterprise and encouraging them to explore using a tested and proven platform of ours, where we can actually help the financial advisors in creating more value for their customers.
So you think that this would expand into the region? What is the region slower than Singapore in this case, or faster?
In terms of financial literacy, there definitely there will be some gaps.
Ah.
But in terms of the willingness to test out technology, right? I think it is quite similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If in fact other countries, they are also very forthcoming in terms of wanting to test out new technology. Yeah, so that they can elevate the skill set, the knowledge of their representatives.
Maybe you can share some tips on how different is it, or at least for some a fintech startup is looking to expand overseas, right, or the region. What is something they can look out for since you have a huge experience in the region? Are the Thais the same as the Indonesians, the same as Singaporeans?
It's totally different. Yeah, I think Asia, being Asia, right, we are a very attractive market.
Right.
But we are a very diverse market as well because of the culture, the language. So in order for us to actually go into overseas, we need to be prepared to take care of the different needs of different users or our customers from different region. So you need to take time to understand what they actually need. Then you provide the solution to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So before I go on to the next question, right, in case you guys are wondering why we're asking some of these questions, it's because Dato Wayne actually has a company, right, that looks into startups. Is that right? Right. And in fact, they look at good startups and they probably want to do a JV with them and things like that. So that's the reason why we're asking. Most people want to understand behind an investors, what are the key things that they're looking out for? Yeah, some trends that they're looking out for. So back to you, right, Wayne, right, is that, I mean, for the young entrepreneurs out there, especially those that are, facing some struggles with their, ideas, their whole entrepreneurship, right? What sort of message do you tell them in overcoming their problems or challenges?
I think different business will have different challenges, right? Because of the different environment that they may be in. I think in terms of like businesses that we are looking for, we tend to look a lot on the founders, like what are kind of expertise and what is their motivation. And of course, in terms of their business acumen, like their thoughts and their understanding towards the market, is it aligned? So because if there's no alignment, right, actually very difficult because the mindset and the belief is already very different, then that collaboration will be a bit tough.
So what do you mean by alignment?
Like usually we'll ask the founders first, what is their thought about the market, then let them share first, then to think that whether is it aligned with what we think about the market, and from there then we will see whether if there is any alignment. If there's no alignment, then a bit difficult.
So I'm curious, is this like a room for negotiation kind of thing, or if they answer wrongly means that's it?
Usually if they answer wrongly then a bit tough to move on.
Right.
Yeah, so because no point to
Debate.
Yeah, to debate over it because everybody have different belief, different mindset, right? So they may be right, we may be wrong. But then again, if the alignment is not there, then it's very difficult to move on from there.
Now that you have said it, right, it just brought to me a little myth that I will hope for you to debunk, right? And let me understand a little bit more, is that most of the venture capitalists, investors, right, they tend to say that actually the idea of the company is not important. Right, the person leading the company, right, that's important. So when they invest or when they do a JV, right, it's not a company that they are interested in. It's the person that they're interested in. Is this true?
I would think this is very true. Yeah, because the business can always pivot. Today, the idea that you have right now, right, may not be a fitting product, right? But then because you have the right person, you can always pivot and change the product, change the service. But if you have the right person, right, the things can still move well. Yeah.
Yeah. With that said, then what sort of values, right, do you look into, getting someone that you want to work with?
Qualities, values.
Yeah.
I think values, like what I mentioned earlier on, the integrity part, the ethical part is very critical towards a partnership. Then, of course, the other value is the alignment, whether what values we are actually creating when we are in business. Because if today we are not creating value for our customers or for our users, then that is something that is irrelevant. And yeah.
Any other qualities that you look out for that jumps out to you, the moment you see it?
jump out to you. Some people like Matthew.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Motivated, self-motivated.
Self-motivation.
Self-motivated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe
okay.
let's change the question a little bit, right?
Send you my
What are
resume.
the red flags?
What are the red flags? Yeah.
Red flags.
Yeah, what are the red flags?
Red flags.
Mm.
Wow, that could be quite a lot. No? Red flags.
Top one, top red flag for you. See already straight away. Then.
Actually, the other not say red flag lah. I think if today we are talking about M&A acquisition, for example, one of the criteria that I look for is the person having lead more than 15 people. Yeah.
The leadership qualities.
Yeah, have at least 15 people that the person is leading. Because if you can do very well, one-man team, two-man team, I think you are strong in certain aspect. But if you want to be able to grow further, right, the leadership is important, and you must understand the kind of factors required in terms of leadership, right? So that's why in terms of M&A, merger and acquisition, I usually will look at founders who have managed at least 15 people and above.
Right.
That's true, because it takes a lot to manage a team. Yeah, and I think a lot of experience will come from more than 15 people. If not anything lesser than that, you don't know if the company can scale or not, right?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Now, so now with your reputation, right, in terms of HR as well as the fintech side, right, I'd like to catch a little prediction from you, right? What do you think it will be like in these two industries moving forward?
These two industries moving forward.
HR as well as the fintech industry.
Probably not a trend, but what I hope for is definitely growing.
Okay.
What sort of growth do you expect actually?
What kind of growth do I expect? The growth in terms of people seeing the need of our solution. I think that is the most important. They see why they require our service or our platform. I think that is the most important. I hope through the different areas of education in this industry, people will understand what benefits we are actually bringing to the table to support the industry and to help the customers in understanding their finances so that they can make better financial decisions.
Yeah, so with that said, right, if I were to bring you back to your 20 years old, what would you have done differently?
Okay. This one is a very interesting. I think begin the end in mind is very important. I think I shared with my Ghostmapper team previously, right? When I first started my HR business, I only thought of being the best in Singapore.
For HR.
For HR.
Okay.
Then after that, in 2017, I started to branch out overseas. Then after that, I started Ghostmapper. When I started Ghostmapper, my first initial thought is I have to be the best in Asia. And that's why the expansion plan is so fast and immediate. So I think having the end goal in mind, right, is very critical. If 20 years ago, probably I should have a bigger dream, then the actions that I took will definitely be very different. Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, dream big out there, right? You never know what will become in years to come.
It affects the whole roadmap, right, of the company's development.
Yeah, and the activities that you're going to do, all the action plans is going to be so different.
Yeah. So with today's technology and innovation, right, and of course you as a investor in a sense, how do you think that a young entrepreneur can leverage and then stand out in a competitive market?
In a competitive market, I think you probably need to be able to articulate what you want to achieve. There could be a lot of qualities that you probably need to have. Right now, let me think. Is there any area?
Tough question, ladies and gentlemen. Not an easy question.
For a person to stand out in a very
Yes.
competitive market.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know whether am I standing out in a very competitive market. So I think it's very tough for me to advise the entrepreneurs how they can actually stand out in a competitive market.
What do you think they actually should do then? I mean, because the thing is that you say that actually I do not know whether or not I can stand out, right? So in order for them to stand out, right, what do you think that will catch your eye?
For For new entrepreneur?
For
or
new entrepreneur.
For new entrepreneur. New entrepreneur. I think it's the conviction towards the business plan that they have. Yeah. And yeah, I think that is important. Yeah, I think for existing business owner, then for them it's really how can they deliver their product or services at the best that they can. They are always trying to innovate to deliver more value to their customers or the users. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So there you go, right? I just caught some nuggets, right? In case you guys are looking for investors, what they're looking out for, right? There you go. Right? I gave you the tips. So I think in all our shows here, we do ask our guests one word, right? Which is wrong. One question, right? Which is, if there's one word that you actually give to all the inspiring young entrepreneurs out there, what would that word be and why?
I think this is a very, very difficult question to answer because there's so many things that is important, right? I think instead of one word, can I just one?
Sure. It's for you.
Yeah.
Like
One 俗语 also can.
俗语. I think the key thing here, you must be, what call it? You have to be, learn how to be a good person. Right. So I think from there, if you are able to learn how to be and to be able to be a good person, I think the opportunity, all these things will just come in place. Yeah. 要先学怎么做人. Yeah, I think that,
才做事, right?
yeah.
So for translation out there, right, is you need to 先学怎么做人，才会怎么做事. So you need to learn your mannerism first, learn how to become a human first. Right?
A good person,
a good
learn
person
to be
in
a
general.
good person.
Yeah.
Right?
Then from there on, you
will be able to do things well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Then you'll be able to do things well.
Apparently, I'm not a very good translator, but there you go. I have Matthew here with me helping me in the translation.
The worst Chinese, The worst Chinese.
So before we end off this whole podcast, maybe, right? Maybe I will move your attention to this camera over here, right? And probably you can leave any young entrepreneurs out there with any piece of advice that you can carry on with their journey. Or any last parting words for them.
I think for young entrepreneurs, be daring to dream and be daring to ask. Go out there, network, get to know more people, be a good person. Then from there, you should be able to capture opportunities along the way. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So that's all the time we have. Once again, thank you very much, Dato Wayne.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Huge thanks to Dato Wayne for dropping some serious wisdom bombs and sharing his epic entrepreneur journey with us, from the highs to the lows and everything in between. Dato Wayne's story is proof that with a little grit and a lot of passion, anything is possible.
So we hope that you're walking away feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to tackle your own adventures. Whether it's starting a business or just crushing the week ahead, remember, every great climb starts with a single step, so keep pushing forward.
This episode is brought to you by MESSION in collaboration with the Singapore FinTech Association, supported by the InsurTech Subcommittee. So I do hope that this podcast has ignited your mission, so do join us for stories behind the future of finance from successful individuals on Mission Ignite. Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.